All right, on today's episode of Oli Oli Paints, we're going to do a smart repair. Cue the intro. Okay, like I said, we're gonna do a smart repair. This is a repeat customer and a customer pay, and this is also the third time I've done this exact same repair. This guy is now forbidden by his wife to be driving this car, so this hopefully will be the last time, but this time I gotta keep it cheap because this is the third time that they've fixed it. So I'm gonna set you guys up, show you how I do this. I'm not taking the bumper off the car, I'm not detrimming anything. I will just fix this all on the vehicle. Some of you might hate it, some of you might love it. It really doesn't matter to me either way. This is just what the customer wants and what they're paying for. So let's go ahead and do this and I'll show you what I'm working with. Okay, so this is a Toyota Highlander, paint code, it's either 070 or 089, I don't remember which one. But this exact same corner, I have fixed this exact same damage 3 separate times, okay? So this actually makes it the 4th time. So there's that. But basically I need to sand out these rubs from hitting the garage door. I don't know what it is with people in garage doors, but be careful out there. And essentially what I'm going to use to get the job done is this Milwaukee electric DA. I'm going to just buzz that down, feather it all out, UV prime it, and just get it into the booth and get it painted. And now look, I get it. Everybody on the internet always says that you have to do everything 100% the right way every single time. And you know, I love fixing things off the car. It's obviously the preferred method, but situations where this is just what the customer wants, I'm not gonna turn them away because they've came back to us every single time this has happened, and I'll just do this, you know, as a solid to them and get it fixed up, hopefully one last time. I'm sure this guy's wife was real impressed when he did this, so I'll make it look pretty again, and hopefully she keeps the keys away from him driving it. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, let's go ahead and get this in 400 grit. This has a pretty good gouge in it, so I might even have to use a little bit of UV filler on it. We'll see. Yeah, I'm gonna just use some UV filler and move on with my life. Okay, so feathered out means, you know, just feathered out, smooth, no weird transition or anything like that. This is that gouge. You see how deep that is? Like, that's into the plastic, so that's gonna need a little bit of filler. I'm gonna have to use some adhesion promoter on this spot. Even before I spread filler over this, I'm going to want to adhesion promote that area just to make sure that everything sticks. But basically you just want to smooth all of this out with that 320 so that you don't feel any transition. And yeah, that's almost there. Let me get my little UV filler out, do a little quick spread on this little area, and then we can get some UV primer going on this section. All right, so for adhesion promoter, I'm going to use this Fuser 602EZ. This is a surface modifier, right? So it's just going to allow that little UV putty to actually stick in there. Blow it off of there, get it to kind of flash. Like so, and I'm gonna give this stuff about 2 to 3 minutes to really work its magic, and then I'll do a little spread of UV filler on this. Okay, so that's been 2 or 3 minutes. I'm gonna use this ECO 288 automotive filler paste. This is from Empire Co. You can find them on Instagram. This is clear UV putty. Okay, so I'm going to use just a little plastic razor to spread it. I only need about that much. I am going to block this as well after it's cured, but I'm going to just basically spread this out nice and even. Trying to kind of feather it out with my razor here. And that right there, Nice thing about this stuff is it's not going to kick until it's exposed to UV light, so work time is fantastic. It's pretty much infinite until it sees UV. Okay, so happy with that. It's nice and smoothed out around there. I know it being clear throws people for a loop, but I'm so used to clear and UV products that just kind of is what it is. So anyway, this stuff doesn't take really anything to dry. I'm going to use this Dent Fix UV gun. That's the part number. This is honestly one of the most like affordable UV lights. And I should have glasses on. I'm literally just going to point it and look away because it only takes 10 seconds to cure this stuff. So we're going to go that route. And don't worry about the splattery look. That's literally just the 602 EZ. I don't know why it glows like that, but I'm gonna give this stuff about 10 seconds. And then we'll block it, DA it, and UV prime it. This light's pretty dang intense too. Like, just don't be looking at the light. I promise you, you're gonna ruin your eyes. Good enough. Yeah, 100% dry, ready to sand on it. It's literally that fast. But what I'm gonna do first, I'm gonna just break it open with this DA sander. Like so. But I'm gonna break this open with 400 grit and then I'll get in here with a block and just make sure that everything looks right. And this stuff sands fairly quick. Honestly, I don't even think I'm gonna need to get in here with a block. Let me just see if I can't shape it with this. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna need to. Feels pretty good to me. Just gonna make sure that all of this is nice and feels pretty good. I feel a little bit of wonky here. You can see the layers from where I previously fixed this dang spot. It's so frustrating. Oh yeah, we're good. That feels beautiful. All right, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a little bit of red Scotch-Brite and do the outline around this, okay? And then we'll mask it up and UV prime this section and get it in the booth after we prep it. All right, so now I'm just getting this all masked up so I can UV prime this. Pretty simple masking. I'm just using 18-inch paper. That's all I really need because there's not going to be very much overspray here. So, get all this stuff taped up. And I'm full and well aware that there are going to be R9 Nazis, and that's fine, man. It's not what this particular job calls for, so it is what it is. Just go ahead and move on with your life. Some guys take that very, very, very serious. So you need to be R&I and everything. Well, it's not always necessary, you know what I mean? Another coat of 602 EZ. These little nozzles tend to get kind of clogged up, so be mindful of that. This 602 EZ though, didn't make anything stick. Okay, so now that is set up, I've got a little bit of UV primer here. This is the Sikkens Auto Surfacer UV. Basically, according to the TDS, you spray one coat, you allow it to flash a few minutes, and spray your second coat, and then cure it. Stuff only takes about 60 seconds to actually cure. What I've found works really good in stuff like this is I'll spray my first coat, sit here and blow some air over it for a minute, just to help get the transfer solvents out of it. Then I'll spray my second coat, same thing, blow some air over it for 30 or 45 seconds. And then I'll set my UV light up. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm also using a 1.0 DV1S as a primer gun. Also wear your mask. Okay, now I'll just blow some air over it for about a minute. All right, that's been about a minute. We'll do our second and final coat. Yes, it is transparent. It's supposed to be. Okay. We'll bit more right here. Looks pretty good. Let me bring you in. I'll show you what it looks like. Hopefully you guys seen how little of overspray that was, but that is all covered. That is nice and smooth right there. So now I'm going to set that light up for 60 seconds. I might just set it up for 2 minutes and walk away and go do something else while this is curing, and then we'll prep it, roll it in the booth. Okay, and one of the coolest parts about the Dent Fix light is it comes with this tripod, especially when you get the 2 light kit. It comes with a case and this tripod. But basically, this light locks right into it. So I can set this at 2 minutes, and then all I got to do is hit the trigger and walk away for 2 minutes, and then when I get back, this can literally be sanded on. Yeah, this just basically locks into this little guy, and you can adjust it however you want. But I'll just point it at the repair just like that. Leave it for 2 minutes. Then this primer is ready to sand. That is the speed and productivity of UV. Okay, so this is fully cured, ready to be sanded. I got 600 grit on here. That's all I'm going to need to do. I just need to smooth this out. This is plastic. The only spot of filler that we did is just in that gouge. It's gonna be just fine DAing it with 600 grit. And then I will prep the rest of the bumper, at least until where I'm going to stop, and we'll roll it in the booth. All right, this is all prep. The biggest thing is make sure that all of your edges, I know you should have this bumper off. Yeah, it should be disassembled completely, but if you're going to do it like this, all of the edges around anywhere you're going to tape are vitally important. So make sure that you get scuffed all the way up to the edge. So that way when you go to pull your tape off, it's adhered to the edge, okay? So basically, I'm gonna get this in the booth. This has already been cleaned, but I'm gonna tape it out here, then I'll pull it into the booth, we'll bag it, we'll get some color mixed up and just get this thing knocked out. Okay, let me pre-apologize. I didn't realize my microphone wasn't on. I am just using the DV1S for base coat. Already done 1 coat on this, dehydrated it. It's looking like I'm gonna need 3 coats just to cover that darker gray primer. I'm gonna hit it with the static gun because I did just have a little piece of dirt land in it that I was able to tack rag out. Go ahead and get all the static off of this. But I did choose to use the minigun again because it really doesn't warrant having full-size gun. Then it keeps paint consumption down. I only mixed about 3 ounces of each, the ground color and the pearl. It's not going to take much, and then I'll clear with this as well. Let's do coat number 2. Yep. Anytime you're going to use an air blower, start it away from the panel, and I like to just run my tack rag over it just to get anything off the surface because I'm not trying to blow it into my fresh wet base coat. And I don't have very much air pressure. I think I set the wall at like maybe 30, if that. I'm gonna do 3 coats on this. It might look real good and covered to you guys, but just for insurance, we'll get 1 more on here, and then I'll go mix up that pearl, get our single coat, and then we'll clear it. All right, that is 3 coats. I'm going to force dry it just because that way I can see it before I go and mix that pearl layer. Okay, so this is what that ground color looks like so far. Nice and covered. Got it just blended out just around the corners here. I'm gonna go mix up that pearl coat, and we're gonna do one wet coat over this entire thing, and I'm gonna control coat it while the pearl layer is wet, just so everything smooths out nice and even, and then I'll mix up some clear coat and we'll clear this corner. Okay, I've got the pearl layer mixed up. We're ready to rock and roll. I'm gonna tack rag just kind of the blend area before I spray this. Get any of this white dust off of here. Just like that. It was only a little bit. But like I said, I'm gonna do one wet coat, blending it out, and then immediately I'm gonna just kind of dust coat it or control coat it or orientation coat, whatever you want to call it. Quite that much. While this stuff is wet, and that'll just kind of smooth it all out. So let's get it. And I hope you guys could tell I was taking my pearl a little bit further over here just to melt everything together. But looks like it went on nice and even. I will blow it with some air and just allow that to flash off before I just walk away from it, because I want to verify that everything looks good before I leave the booth. And again, I'm not using much air pressure. It's just lightly blowing air over it. But I don't like to walk away from things like this until I know that I'm happy with it. Because if I have to do any kind of fixing, I don't want to have any clear coat mixed up and in the gun ready to go. I'd rather just fix it before I even mix that, you know what I mean? And now that I'm looking at it, I might just do a quick drop coat just to make sure, because I can't quite tell if it looks a little blotchy in this area or not. But one more drop coat's not going to hurt. It's just going to smooth everything out. So I'll kind of do a drop coat this way, just to cross coat it, and just make sure that everything looks right, because I'd rather be safe than sorry. I'm sure on video it looks fine. There. All right, I'm happy with that. I'm gonna run this through a 10-minute flash cycle while I go mix clear coat. I'll get you guys back in here. We'll knock this job out and be done. Now that's just for reference. This is what it's looking like. Blended out good. Like I said, I've been here before. It's my first rodeo with this exact car and this exact repair. So I'm gonna go mix up some clear coat and we'll knock this thing out. All right, now this is all dry, ready to rock and roll. One way to tell, I tell a lot of guys this: finger on some masking somewhere, twist your thumb. That'll tell you if it's ready to rock and roll. General rule of thumb with this stuff is allow it to sit for 15 minutes, and yeah, you should be good. I'm gonna use the DV1S again. This is CC250. The reason I'm not using like HPC 21, that tends to yellow any of these whites like crazy. Yes, it's faster, but I used US3 moderate temp producer. It's kind of the fastest one that I have. So this will dry fairly quickly. I'll bake this for 20 minutes, I can unmask it, and then it can go outside. So let me get 2 coats of clear on this. When I clear this, I'm gonna do a single wet coat. I'm gonna stop right about where that tow hook is with my first coat. My second coat, I'll go to the end, but I don't need all that much clear built up down there, especially because, as you can see, I stopped on that license plate frame. I don't want to cause like a crazy edge there. That's super noticeable. So another reason why I use the minigun is I'm just not trying to get super thick edges anywhere on this. So let's get this thing cleared. Might need a little more pressure. Yeah, like that. Okay, I'm gonna stop right there. It's good enough for my first coat. As you've seen, I stopped right about at that tow hook cover. So my second coat, I'll let this stuff kind of get sticky for probably about 5 minutes, and then I'll spray my second coat on this, and I'll go all the way to the end. But yeah, I mean, this thing looks awesome. It doesn't have a big gouge in it, and keep in mind I didn't put a block anywhere on this. I thought I was gonna have to, but I just used a DA on this whole repair, and you can't tell I even was in there. So it looks really good. I'll show you guys after my second coat. All right, so here is how this came out. I hope you guys can see that. No more gouge, no more scratches. Everything is pretty nice and slick. Miniguns, when you're breaking up clear with a 1.0, I mean, it just works fantastic. So let me send this through a bake cycle. I'll unmask this thing, back it out of the booth, show you guys what it looks like outside if we have any daylight. If we have any daylight left, I don't know, it might be dark by then, but I'm pretty dang happy with that. That's how I handle these smart repairs, spot repair, whatever you want to call this. But yeah, let me hit the bake cycle, and then I'll back this thing out and let you guys check it out. All right, so I got this all unmasked. This all came out really nice. Nice and smooth. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. This all matches side to side. I was like, I unmasked this and was like, oh geez, that might look a little bit yellow, but then I looked here, and then I looked here, and it looks the exact same. Bumper to plastic just always looks slightly different, but yeah, you can't tell that I've been here. Just everything came out nice, came out smooth, so that's job done. And I know there are gonna be people that they don't like smart pairs, and that's cool, man. I totally get it. But yeah, if you guys enjoyed today's video, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Let me know in the comments section how much you hated it, if that's how you feel. But yeah, I'll catch y'all on the next one.